Hi there, I'm Don Samulack, President U.S. Operations at Editage, Cactus Communications, and I'm here today with Jason Roberts, the Senior Partner of Origin Editorial, and we just gave a presentation earlier this morning at the ISMTE meeting here in Baltimore, and it was talking about peer review, and so we just thought we'd take a second to sort of frame some of that discussion about what the main themes of that session were, and to bring it more to life. So welcome, Jason. Thank you for, for doing this, and just sort of impromptu. So from the peer review perspective and from a journal perspective, we were talking today about how journal editorial offices really do need to be more transparent about their peer review processes, so that the authors know when they submit a paper to a journal how their paper is actually going to be looked at, what process it's going to go through. And so perhaps you can comment a little bit about what your thoughts are regarding transparency in peer review.
Sure. I mean, this is not a big ask for journals. It's not a challenge to become adopters of, say, open peer review. You can still carry on doing what you're doing. What we're looking for is journals to really just open up the process so we understand what's going on. And unfortunately, most journals don't disclose what they do. You don't know how many people review the paper. You don't know how the journals pick the reviewers. You don't know, do they do a statistical review? You know, all this information is hidden, and there's no real need for it to be hidden. But what it does is it helps authors understand what's going to happen to their paper. It's going to help readers understand what the paper that they're reading was subjected to. And I think that it goes beyond that, though. It's not just, you know, serving you as a journal. You know, we've seen the work that was done last year by you know, David Moore and Larissa Shamsir at the Ottawa Centre for Journalology. They really looked at predatory journals there and what defines them. Well, you know, in looking at what defined a predatory journal, we also found, because I was part of that research too, we also found that a number of so-called legitimate journals were failed to disclose this information. So, you know, one way to put a bit of distance between a good journal and a predatory journal, so-called predatory journal, is to be much more open about your peer review process, actually, so that we can understand what that journal did. So this is a huge thing that's happening. Journals are going to have to be held to account, I think, more. The chorus for open everything is growing, so let's make a start. And what we were saying in today's session was, you know, let's think about these issues, and then what needs to happen next is that we develop perhaps a transparency checklist. What is it that we should do? What information should we disclose? For a lot of journals, they will be clueless as to where to even begin with this. So what I'm hoping is that, you know, we're going to start to see organizations like ISMTE, like COPE, the publishers all come together, and let's try and figure out what it is that journals can do as a basic minimum standard.
Yeah, and I obviously agree 100%. And the transparency, the ability for a journal to be more transparent, and transparency is a big word that basically says to the author, this is what we do, this is what our journal represents, this is what our brand represents, this is what you are getting when you submit to this journal. And that's not so much to ask.
No, it really isn't. And you know, transparency in that respect is transparency about the process, but we also probably need greater transparency from the authors themselves. And so, you know, one of the other things we looked at is, you know, do you use things like reporting guidelines such as Consort? You know, there's all these things that we need to get, you know, out of the authors as well, you know, and even reviewers as well. Let's tease out what their biases are. Let's, you know, find out how they did things, you know, if it's the authors. We need more information as well. So it's not just about being open about what you do, but also maybe what journals need to start thinking about to get other stakeholders to be more open about, you know, their involvement in this whole research and publication process.
Yeah, I'm Don Samulack, President U.S. Operations at Editage, and I'm with Jason Roberts, Senior Partner of Origin Editorial, and we're at the ISMTE meeting, and hope you enjoyed this and look for more of them.